Hey everyone, it's BlueLizardJello, and welcome back to Blue Plays the First Berserker Khazan, and let me tell you just how much I'm loving this game. So I would like to play this game right now for all of you completely blind, and so far that's remained true, but I also would like to put out some guides for this. And so in between the last episode where I finally killed Viper and now, I set up a save backup and have fought Viper probably 30 plus times at this juncture, and I think I know the fight really well. And let me say, when you understand the combos and the combat and the fluidity of it all, it is an absolute blast. Now, I'm about to completely ruin that by switching to a new weapon this time, but look forward to some of those guides hopefully coming out really soon as I continue to learn the game. But anyway, after we killed Viper, we came back here to the crevice, and Daphrona actually opened up this portal that you see kind of just above me. So I'm now technically in the mortal side of things in the crevice. So the crevice is the in-between the underworld and the mortal realm. But there's still kind of the light and dark sides of the crevice, and this is the quote-unquote light side, as I tend to call it. And that's where we can run into some NPCs. So I think we have quite a bit of potential dialogue and NPCs interactions to deal with. But first, one thing I noticed, it has nothing to do with going back here, but I now have a new option in my inventory, which is called Daphrona's Codex. Holy moly. It actually has a complete Beastiary. Whoa, with training grounds? Hold on, that's very cool. All right, we'll test out the training grounds. Yeah. I would say that I hate to do this, but you know what? No, I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to be reading through all of these entries. So if you want to skip ahead because you have no interest in these, totally understand. Click 2-3 minutes past, and if I'm still reading, just keep clicking. And I think that little hash marker up in the top right of the portrait is an indication of how many I've killed, perhaps? So, Pellas Archer. Pellas archers are soldiers who have been recognized for their excellence and can be found throughout the lands of the Empire. They monitor their enemies' approach from afar and deliver swift and precise attacks at the first sign of suspicious activity. Through its many battles against the Dragonkin, the Empire came to learn the importance of eliminating powerful threats with haste. As a result, the Empire spares no expense when it comes to the training of new archers. Then we have Centurion. Centurions are seasoned veterans who command large contingents of soldiers. They wield massive axes that are as tall as grown men with both of their hands as they charge toward the enemy without hesitation. Even in times of crisis, Pellas Centurions are able to command their soldiers without losing their composure. When they are short on numbers, they can be found personally joining the fray in battle. Then we have the Pellas Scouts, who are responsible for reconnaissance and patrolling the various regions of the Empire. Armed only with a single weapon, they travel light and stay ahead of the Empire's main forces, acting as their eyes and ears behind enemy lines. The mighty military of the Pellas Empire was once a beacon of light for its citizens. As the war dragged on, however, it quickly fell to corruption, and the citizens' admiration soon turned into fear. Shield bearers. They protect against enemy invasion, even in the most dire of situations. They carry shields made of durable material that allow them to fend off attack after attack. Over many years of war against the Berserk dragon Hismar, the Empire stopped at nothing to ensure its survival. The tactical know-how they acquired during that time are still in practice today. And then the Swordsmen. Pellas swordsmen form the backbone of the Pellas military. They were thrown into battle with only minimal training. Though their performance can never match that of Imperial soldiers in their prime, it should not be forgotten that these soldiers have survived actual combat. The ones who enlisted during the time of the Hismar conquest are subject to especially severe mistreatment. The cruelty displayed at times by these soldiers of humble origin are rooted in this unfortunate state of affairs. Okay, no others right now, but I can sort down in the bottom with L3. Completion, name. All right, so kills, completion, newest, name. I wonder if completion is Sometimes the Codex or Beastiaries are filled out the more enemies you kill. Even Monster Hunter has a system like that. Okay, so that's human, and then we have beast. Whoa, wait a minute. Bonus training rewards. Oh. This is very interesting. Oh, I like... Anyway, I'm jumping the gun. Let me read about the wild bear. Wild bears are counted among the most dangerous wildlife of the Empire and are as deadly as they are notorious. With their massive size, keen sense of smell, and high intelligence, they relentlessly track down their prey. Though they once mostly kept to themselves to rear their offspring, these bears have become increasingly aggressive due to a decrease in available food and habitat. This has led to a rise in attacks against people and livestock, resulting in a growing number of casualties. And they had a bonus training, which is defeat a wild bear without using recovery consumables. And you get 5 fire enhancers. You can even take a look to see what it is. That's fantastic. I love that. Now, well, I'll ask this question. We'll see if the Codex answers it. Would that training have appeared prior? Like, would it have had actually said, this is the bonus training, this is the reward you'll get? Or does it only appear after you blindly stumble upon it? We'll find out. And then we have wild boar. Wild boars are prolific breeders and notable for being some of the most ferocious wildlife in the Empire. They will charge at anything caught in their line of sight, and a direct hit from their razor-sharp tusks can result in fatal injuries, even with the protection of armor. Since long ago, the hunting of wild boars has been considered a feat of bravery and strength. As more and more nobles sought to boast their skill in the hunt, wild boars began to retreat into places beyond human reach. And here's the answer to my question, which is yes. If an entry has a bonus training, it will tell you what it is. This one is defeat a wild bear while it's collapsed. I assume that's a typo, because we've seen that first off, the entry is wild boar, and we've seen that the wild boars, if you hit them with a javelin as they're charging, it collapses for some time. And we would get a fire-resistant parchment. Which is a blacksmith recipe. Blind playthroughs, by the way, did let me know that I missed a recipe for the blacksmith back in the Embar's Ruin. So I will have to go back there at some point to collect that. But I guess potentially I could kill one in training grounds. That would be interesting. Whoop. Granite Jocko. Granite Jockos have backs as hard as rocks and are notorious for their aggression. Much discussion once took place within the Empire as to how best to break through their backs and subdue them so that safe passage through their territory could be guaranteed. Granite Jockos are especially vicious toward those who intrude upon their territory. They must be treated with caution as they are strong enough to hurl giant logs and break through thick ice. Red-eyed bat. Red-eyed bats are mostly found in caves or underground, surviving by feeding on blood. As they are weak and feeble on their own, they rely on the safety of numbers, often traveling in groups. Unlike ordinary bats, red-eyed bats possess razor-sharp claws and use them to dive and slash at their prey. Upon spotting a red-eyed bat, it is best advised to take cover as quickly as possible. Wild dogs are found all throughout the Empire and take on a variety of forms based on their habitat. They have a habit of alerting nearby members of their pack upon sensing danger, and one must be careful not to attract their attention. Wild dogs are violent and ferocious, and their territories are best traversed under the protection of skilled mercenaries. And then we have the wild Jocko. So the Granite Jocko, I've killed 3 of them, but that doesn't appear to be the Yeti, right? I'm not sure what the Granite... Where have I fought the Granite Jockos? Anyway, wild Jocko. Wild beasts with a habit of chasing down and harassing humans. They sometimes attack by throwing chunks of rotten fungus, which have a smell so putrid that getting hit by enough of them can lead to incapacitation. Wild Jockos are exceptionally nimble and curious creatures, even amongst Jockos. It is said to be out of simple curiosity that they attack humans, despite their diet of mostly of bark and fruit. Okay, we have some Dragonkin, double-edged butcher. Some of the most belligerent among the Dragonkin. They are tough adversaries who will never let a human escape their sight once spotted. As a result of the drawn-out war, the Dragonkin harbor a deep hostility toward humans. Upon encountering a human, most dragonkin show no hesitation in launching an attack. Bonus training, shatter a double-edged butcher and defeat it while it's staggered. Shatter. So does that mean we have to freeze it? Masterless Guardians are some of the strongest individuals among the dragonkin. Their giant hammers made of the bones and hide of their kin can smash through even the thickest palisades with ease. The surviving dragonkin from the war now rally under their leader's banner, guarding their kin from potential threats. Within the ranks of the dragonkin, all members are considered equal, although hierarchical structures may emerge in specific situations. Defeat a Masterless Guardian after performing 3 successful counterattacks for 10 Earth Enhancers. Berserk Dragon Sharpshooters are some of the most intelligent among the dragonkin. In the days of the war, they crafted copies of human weapons and learned to make use of them. With the death of Hismar, the defeated dragonkin have gathered in ruins that flow with a special energy. Seeking to resurrect their overlord, they begin to gather the skin and bones of their kin. And then the Berserk Dragon's Talon. Some of the most nimble among the dragonkin. They use their small size and twisted wing-like arms to their advantage to take down their opponents. The brutality of humans has left an indelible mark on the minds of the defeated dragonkin. They long for the strength to one day exact revenge on the humans who slaughtered their families and their creator, Hismar. And now we're on to the Undead. Renowned Warrior Shadow. These shadows are what remains of warriors who once made a name for themselves on the battlefield, but now they too can only wait what deliverance may come from the hands of another. When ordinary humans become the undead, they lose all memories with emotions. What drives these shadows to wildly brandish their greatswords is their instinct to strengthen their now frail bodies. Defeat a renowned warrior shadow without taking damage for a Ring of Sealed Fire. Fire resistance 150 and random attributes. Ooh, and 80 max health. That's a good ring, level 30. Whoops. Undead Archer. Never find eternal rest unless it is brought to them by the hands of another. They unleash volleys of arrows upon the living, executing each shot with a natural, practiced precision that seems ingrained in their very essence. Some claim they target the hearts of the living out of a desperate desire to reclaim the life they lost, a futile desire that can never become reality. Ice Archers will never find eternal rest, and looks like that's the exact same thing. Okay, other than fire is an effective method to deliver eternal rest to the undead who are doomed to repeat endless death. To release them from their unending obsession, one may need to enlist the aid of spirits. Undead swordsmen wander in search of the living and brandish their swords with their fleshless limbs. The reason why the undead are so hostile to the living has yet to be discovered, but judging by the intensity of their hostility, the cause of their resentment seems to be etched deep in their bones. Undead vagrants, with their flesh long since withered away. All that remains of them is bone, and with it they brandish their clubs to assault the living. Their massive clubs of unknown origin are likely forged from sturdy steel and are extraordinarily powerful. One grazing brush against one of these clubs could very well shatter the bones of an ordinary human. Okay, we have no demons, and we have some remnants. Abyssal Husk. Incorporeal entities that can be encountered through the rituals of the Bantu. They sprout from the soil of human memories and are driven by the consciousness held within. The trials of the Bantu provide an opportunity to come face to face with one's own limits. These shapeless figures born of trial can only be overcome by the challenger's force of will, and the forms of the abyss that arise from the challenger's deepest depths stand as a true testament to their life's journey. And it looks like Abyssal Knights are the same. And then Khazan's Abyss. In the rituals and trials of the Bantu, challengers are confronted by entities of the Abyss. Among them, Khazan's Abyss stands as Khazan's deepest subconscious, incorporeal form. It embodies all of Khazan's moments of pain, grief, and rage, and if left undefeated, will remain as a memory that will haunt him for the rest of his days. And then we have the bosses. Blade Phantom is an amalgamation of ghosts who follow the orders of Karen, the gatekeeper of the Netherworld. The combat experience Blade Phantom has gathered over untold lengths of time is evident based on his uncanny ability to adapt, effortlessly switching weapons to suit the moment. Only one consciousness, the strongest of them all, dictates the actions of Blade Phantom. Driven by its will to become even stronger, a single soul was able to become the leader of the collective consciousness after absorbing the souls of other powerful warriors. And there's my boy Viper. Viper is a leader among the Dragonkin who possesses a scale from Hismar. As a piece of the divine body of their creator, this scale is difficult to wield, but he makes use of it from time to time by infusing himself with the energy stored within. Viper is exceptionally large and powerful even among the Dragonkin. He can wield magic and throw his double-bladed sword staff to strike targets from afar, and there was a time when he planned to grow even more powerful in service of the Berserk dragon Hismar. What plans he had, however, were thwarted as a result of Hismar's defeat to the two heroes of the Empire. Strengthening his forces, Viper resolved to enact revenge on the humans. Yetuga, the ruler of the Frozen Mountain, is a Jocko of Hindmach who will even attack its own kind. Okay, so that must mean that the Granite Jocko were the lesser Yetis prior to Yetuga. Enraged by the brutal murder of its family at the hands of the Imperial army on its way through the mountain, Yetuga responds violently towards any intruder in its territory by hurling rocks and spewing blasts of its freezing breath. The Bantu, who are well aware of Yetuga's suffering, avoids the places it's known to frequent and makes no attempt to vanquish it. That was a lot. Thank you for sticking with me, or at least jumping forward through 16 minutes. So we got Hismar's scale. It was lodged in Viper's heart, drives Dragonkin into a berserk frenzy. Perhaps it could prove useful if gifted to the right person. Fascinating. We also got a Hunter Scroll. Allows the blacksmith to craft gear from the Hunter set. Very, very nice. And a Vitality Tome. Okay, so we have some stuff to give to a blacksmith, but first, we do have to find a blacksmith. Now, before we go out and do any combat, we will be switching up our gear, but first, well, first off, we know Duimuk.
I brought my grandson to help you on your journey. Make good use of him. He has a talent for spotting useful items. Now I am needed back at the mountains, but may the blessings of the three go with you.
Okay, Duimuk's grandson.
I am Duimuk, grandson of Duimuk. She sent me to find you, but with dire news.
So Duimuk, grandson of Duimuk, or Duimuk.
Brace yourself. It's worse than you can imagine. The beacon in Frau Village has been lit. The Dragonkin are coming.
So you could say that Frau Village calls for aid?
Pavel is likely on his way with his own forces, but if he arrives too late...
Wait, Pavel?
Yes, he's the lord and protector of Frau. Please, we must hurry. If you need anything, just let me know. I've got stuff that might be useful.
Okay, new region discovered. Frau Village in the Charnock Mountain Range. So, you are a merchant. What do you sell? Oh, you sell some armor. Bandit. These look random too, so I imagine these probably change over time. But the Bandit's Winter Top. Okay, defense unit. Is there anything of real interest here? So you have the Wanderer set. Okay, or part of the Wanderer set at least. You have 60,000 gold, by the way. Anything else that's part of a set? Vitality Spheres. I have been using those quite a bit. We have the Tier Summons. So I don't need those. Assassin's Elixir, still not even quite sure how they work. And that is that. Okay. And we could sell stuff. I'm probably going to have to do that at some point. But for now, I think that is good. Now, anything... I assume there's nothing new in our chest? No. Alright. Just want to make sure. Okay. That is Daphrona. I still don't have a blacksmith, it would seem.
You did a fine job,
Oksana.
Nimbars. Fine indeed. Even someone of my stature has uses for such a place.
Okay, so this is just, remember, this is the Lacrima extraction. So we could, at the very least, extract... We do extract all, and just do common. Okay, so we just did 24 items, which is fine. So we can either sell old gear for gold with Duimuk, or we can exchange it for Lacrima here with Oksana. Okay, but again, no blacksmith yet. Okay, anything else here in the mortal side of things? Would not appear so, okay. Well then, why don't we head back over? Alright, here's Daphrona.
Souls meant for the Netherworld are disappearing. What's going on in Embers is just a small part of a bigger problem. We need to find out what's causing it, and stop it.
Okay, yeah, tell me about the Codex that I just spent 15 minutes reading through.
Now that you're part of the Netherworld, you can access my Codex. It tracks every enemy you've defeated. It responds to Netherworld energy, and remembers every battle you fought. You can revisit these battles in a special space within this book. And in that space, you will be able to hone your skills. I hope it will help you in your journey.
And we already learned about the Lacrima of Circulation. That's the item that we can get when we kill shadows. And that item that can then be used to summon help for boss fights. Unleash Soulstones, enter training grounds, upgrade Spirit of Advocacy. And this costs Lacrima of Circulation. Oh. Oh. Okay. Well, let's not do the training grounds just yet, but we can talk to the Blade Phantom.
Our mission has only just begun. Use the blade.
And that's okay. That's it. Nothing new there. Has anyone moved in downstairs? Okay, we can still access Oxa. Oh, this is open. But with no one else here. Okay, so that's it. So we still have to maybe find the blacksmith for him to show up. Okay. So let's take a look at the portal here. Okay, so that's Frau Village, Ember's Ruin. So we did miss one of those soul stones. And I suppose, could we go back and actually fight Viper again? Huh. Now that's... Wait a minute, what is this? Oh, is this the Stormpass's Phantom of Combat? Okay. So that's like the side quest, right? Which that one, Heinmach doesn't have one, nor does Ember's Ruins, Frau Village. That's just our next area. But, just because I want to test it out, I'm going to go into the Daphrona's Codex. I'm going to go to the Wild Boar. And let's see if we can't achieve that bonus training reward here in the training rounds. But one thing is I don't have any spirit. At the Codex training grounds, you can face off against enemies added to the Codex. Customize your training session by selecting different opponents and adjusting their combat settings. Select training opponent, combat stance, set the opponent's stance, okay, offensive, defensive, or neutral, auto recovery, and select training ground. Select or change the training location. It is a special place created from the memories. In this area, certain rules apply. Only specific consumables are available for use. Consumables have no usage limit. Skill mastery and skill points cannot be gained. Oh, bonus training from Daphona's Codex cannot be attempted, and its rewards cannot be claimed. All right. Well, there we go. Come on. I need my spirit. Come on now. All right. Finish you off. Yeah. Well, really, really nice to know that you can just train to your heart's content. And then if you want to leave, we just do that. It makes sense that you can't get the rewards, but I mean, if you're going to call them training grounds with training rewards, you know. Okay, in the Encyclopedia. Oh, I did not realize that all these status effects were listed here. Okay, so we won't go through all of them, but this is good to know. Look at how many status effects there are. Holy cow. Wow. Huh, turn a lantern on to gain its effect. The effect varies depending on lantern type, so there's going to be other types of lanterns. That's interesting. Oh, look at this. You can actually learn about all the different attributes. So, for example, where was that one about what was it called? Unscathed. Okay. So, and just like we thought, it's when our health is at 100%. That's really cool. This is an impressive amount of information. Okay, I think it's time to pick some new gear. And I think next up is going to be the Greatsword. Probably my nemesis. I hate to say it, but it's slow, it's bulky, and I know it hits like an absolute truck, but it's just never been my cup of tea. So unscathed, stamina recovery rate 4.5%. I have learned... Oh, okay, so there is actual lore to some of this stuff. But I've learned how vital stamina recovery is. An axe and sword. Oh, that is the hero's dual wield. It looks like maybe not everything has it. Yeah, okay, so the soul cleaving greatsword has it, but good to know. This has unscathed. I think I'll go with this for my greatsword. Ooh, well, the heroes, we're gonna stay away from the bonus stuff. This does give me an extra Netherworld energy, so I have an extra heal. Okay, so that's my highest level. Ooh, we got the Hunter's Vest, which we have the blueprints to make this, but we don't have a blacksmith just yet. We're wearing the Butcher's Pauldron, so if we wanted to switch this out, we absolutely could. Max health for a little bit more stamina. Sure, let's do that. That's Ashen, that's Ashen. Fallen Lord's Gauntlet. Ooh. Was that from killing Viper? Did I get that from Viper? Yeah. A piece of attire that embodies the lacrima of Viper, a general of the Berserk Dragon. Imbued with the power of Hismar, it is exceptionally resilient. They say the dragon can serve only master until the day they die. Now, if I equip this, I don't really gain a whole lot. In fact, almost nothing, because I don't have the other set pieces. So I don't think I'll go with that. I think I'll probably stay with the rest of the Ashen set for now. Necklace of Resilience, 18 Brutal, 40 max stamina, and 21 max stamina. With a heavier weapon, I might want that extra stamina. Attack damage plus 6. You know, I think I'm going to go with the Veteran's Ring, 5.8% stamina recovery. And I'm going to decrease this immensely, and I'm going to throw on Vitality Sphere. They have proven to be very, very useful. I guess I'll put on Assassin's Elixirs, because goodness knows what they are and what they do. And there we go. Well, here's what we're going to do. Believe it or not, I am going to wrap up here. I know, we've been in the crevice the whole time, but we had a lot of reading to do. I'm going to make this kind of a special episode. So this will go live at 8 a.m. Eastern Time, just like all the other episodes. But instead of just one on this day, if you're watching this when the video is coming out, I'm going to tack on a second episode right after this. So I'll schedule this for 30 minutes later. That way you can watch this. If you had no interest because there was no combat whatsoever other than the training grounds, you'll have something else to sink your teeth into. But for now, that is going to do it for this episode of Blue Plays the First Berserker Khazan. So much to love about this game. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you're still enjoying, and I will see you very soon next time.